Frontier defense mode, Chris. I did not expect that live stream when I came in this morning.
Aaron, does anybody like Horde mode?
I remember you saying when Respawn was talking about Horde mode, you had a bit of a sinking feeling. And
it's just like feels like the thing they do because they're like, we want people to like play our game a lot more, and we've got these mechanics in place. Let's just throw a bunch of dudes in there, make them shoot a lot of them.
But then we actually saw the Horde mode,
Yeah.
and it actually looks really good.
Yeah, it actually looks kind of cool. So it's like, I don't know. So it's on a bunch of different maps. They've named like 4 or 5. They showed a couple in the live stream.
Let's do a quick breakdown. So Frontier Defense mode is basically 4-player co-op.
Yep.
Players are defending a harvester, but
Just like a little tower.
yeah, a little tower.
Plunked down at some point in the maps you already know.
But Respawn has gone and taken a ton of mechanics in this game and changed them. So now the AI wields all weapons.
Mm-hmm.
They come in waves on the Rise map in waves of up to 200 grunts at a time.
Well, it's not just grunts, right? It's grunts, it's specters, it's titans, and they're also new variants. So like, there are suicide specters that are bright orange and run at you, and if you punch them, they explode, so maybe don't punch them. There are nuke titans that their job is to just like run up and nuclear eject in your face. There are like cloaked enemies that have drones hovering over them. There are sniper specters that shoot you with like arc cannons from far away. So they that's one of the ways that enemy diversity is one of the things that sort of spices it up. Because like AI in Titanfall is important, but it's also kind of a means to an end.
We also saw Spectres rodeoing Titans,
Yeah.
which is a brand new thing. So it's cool. On the pilot side, we also have a lot of new tools, or at least new life being breathed into old tools. So we have the turret, which is brand new. It looked like something that's earned by team score.
Yeah, it's just one of these like turrets you get as like a kill streak reward in Call of Duty, or you've seen it in other games. You just plunk it down wherever, it auto fires on enemies. You put it in front of a lane of grunts. Yay!
Hopefully grunts go away.
Yeah.
What I'm most intrigued with though is breathing new life into some old stuff. Like, so the ice pick, something that was never very useful in multiplayer.
Yeah, it's like the pilot ability that lets you hack turrets quicker or hack specters quicker.
Now I'm thinking hack giant packs of specters and put them to work for you. You know, additionally, the arc cannon, which I think people sort of late in this game got the hang of. I mean, what is the limit to the number of dudes you can chain kill with an arc cannon?
You can just zap in one blast with that thing. Yeah, because there were a lot of burn cards and weapons that sort of felt like a little bit like niche. Like you're gonna have to play a very specific play style on a very certain map to make this really work for you. But now you've got stuff like the Slammer mod for the LMG. Like, it's super important to be able to rodeo Titans and kill them quickly and then hop off, because there are tons of enemy Titans coming at you. There's not just six enemy Titans on screen as a max you would ever see in a competitive match, but in this cooperative mode, like 10, 20, depending on the map and the wave, there's just a ton, and you really need to chew through them quickly.
Also a burn card like Wi-Fi, which was a complete throwaway burn card for the entire time I was playing this game.
Is that the one that makes...
That's the one that auto-captures specters around you.
Right.
So, you know, you pop Wi-Fi, you run into a giant group of enemy specters, and suddenly you've collected a giant group, like a giant armada of specters fighting for you.
It makes you play in a different... I mean, it makes you play in a different way, but it also, like you said, takes these things and makes them really annoying or useful in a different way depending on who's using them. The example I'm thinking of is there are mortar titans, which will just like perch on the outside of the map, like lob mortars onto the harvester, and they'll straight up throw up one of those shields so you can't snipe them from afar. You kind of gotta like go out of your way to take them down because they're just bombarding the harvester the whole time. And
yeah, I think Respawn's done a really good job of adding like phases to the maps. So if you have the mortar titans bombarding your harvester, that means you're suddenly going to have to split your efforts between you and other players. These players are going to have to hang out and defend locally, and then other players are going to have to run across the map and drop the mortar titans, or you're going to lose.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. Like during different waves, I think players are going to have to switch up their tactics. They do have a weapons crate, so you can actually hot swap your weapons and gear at will.
Without like, I died, now I changed my loadout. You can just go to the crate and go ahead and do that. I guess the question then is, so we're feeling a little more, I'm feeling a little bit more interested in it than I was when I heard it was a Horde mode. But why is that? Like, why does this interest you we both enjoyed Titanfall, but you don't play Titanfall regularly now, do you? And
I
you probably
feel like-
haven't for a while. I certainly haven't.
I mean, one of the things with Titanfall was I felt like it wasn't a game that could last forever. Some people might disagree with me, but I got the number of hours out of that game that I wanted to get out of that game, and I think it was a fantastic experience. Now, the cool thing about what Respawn's doing now is they're basically keeping their cards close to their chest and then making announcements like this where they're doing big updates, or they're doing, in this case, a big DLC. They're letting you sort of naturally discover it on your own, which intrigues you and makes you want to go back into the game. And I think every time they do one of these, they do entice players to come back for periods of time and play Titanfall again.
Yeah, I think the thing that entices me about it is that kind of getting to use burn cards that normally I just felt were too specific to be useful in an attrition match or capture the flag match. I think it's also taking on the AI in a way that's more significant than you did in the competitive matches, because the AI was there, but it was not like something you really had to contend with and strategize about. Most of your strategies formulated around what the other team is going to be doing. A big thing they were talking about during the live stream we watched when they were playing it a bunch is how they think this is going to be a way for not just people like us who are like, hey, something fresh in Titanfall, let me get back into it, I like that game a lot, but also people who are maybe new to Titanfall or maybe didn't play it that much, but who are like not the sharks out there, who are like Gen 10, like just, racking up triple-digit scores on attrition every match. That's intimidating to get into. The way they're sort of scaling the waves and the way that they, if you fail a wave, you start that wave again. You don't go back to the beginning. You start with a Titan, you start with a sentry turret. They're really trying to make it so that it's a little more welcoming, which I like because I really like the core mechanics of Titanfall, and I think the more people get to play that, the more that kind of thing will just become, that kind of creativity will become valued in sort of the shooter landscape.
Yeah, it's a way for new players to level without basically getting annihilated by 1050s. And also, like, let's be honest, anytime you get into a match and somebody on your team doesn't even have their first icon
their first gen,
for their gen, you're like, oh boy, this is going to be a rough match.
It's going to be a doozy. There's a few other sort of details to cover real quick. I mean, new achievements on Xbox One. It's coming out tomorrow, October 23rd, for PC and Xbox One. No word on the 360 version. The PC version is going to have new graphics options. They've done some optimization of load time stuff. I think there's ranked matches as well.
Yeah, they've also tweaked a couple of the things. They've made the black market a little bit more useful. So now there's going to be new voices that you can only get in the black market. And one of the other cool things that we just read in their patch notes was that the black market's going to have the ability for you to buy and cheat your way out of certain generation requirements.
Oh,
so
you really don't like that grenade launcher on the Titan, you can work around.
Or if you really don't like, getting those gooses where you have to shoot the pilot after they eject,
oh god,
you might be able to buy your way out of those challenges, which is a very black market thing to do.
And buy, you're not meaning like buy some Xbox Live points and spend, or you mean like buy with other in-game sort of...
You're literally using your
stuff.
In-game currency to buy your way out of challenges
All right, cool.
that you don't like. There's also some other upcoming modes that they've started talking about that they're not going to be out until a little bit later. One of them that intrigued me was basically a don't touch the ground mode. So
I missed that part.
So basically there's going to be burning smoke on the ground, and pilots are going to have to play several modes, I think including capture the flag, without actually touching the ground of the map, which sounds like a lot of fun.
That sounds like the thing you do in your living room with the couches and the chairs and like clambering all over your stuff in your house when you're a kid.
The developers affectionately refer to it as the don't touch the lava mode.
Floor is lava, yeah. Nice.
So that's an upcoming, that's not in this update tomorrow.
All right.
So overall, Chris, do you think that this mode is going to bring players back into Titanfall?
Yeah, I think it will. I mean, I'll certainly fire it up and give it a shot. It'll be interesting to see how they sort of, message it other than sort of like videos like this one or, videos like theirs. Just like how do they let people know like, hey, there's this new thing over here, maybe you're going to enjoy it. And also communicate the fact that like, yeah, it's horde mode, but like it's really kind of interesting. I think it's interesting because the way that AI is already sort of woven into the fabric of competitive Titanfall. It's not like a Call of Duty where there's no AI in the competitive mode. That's only in the single player mode, and so the horde mode there is sort of a separate beast. This just sort of feels like a logical mutation of Titanfall's competitive mode, which is cool.
So yeah, big surprise today. Frontier Defense mode coming out in Titanfall tomorrow for PC and Xbox One.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Should be interesting.